This paper presents the self-supervised Gaussian-Attention network for image clustering, named GATCluster. First, let's look at what is the unsupervised deep clustering. Clustering is the process of separating data into groups according to sample similarity, which is the fundamental unsupervised learning task with numerous applications. Conventional clustering methods use handcrafted features and domain-specific distance functions to measure the similarity. However, the ability of handcrafted features are very limited. Therefore, researchers have been dedicated to leverage deep neural networks for representation learning and clustering, which is commonly referred to as deep clustering. However, deep clustering still has an inferior performance for complex natural images. For example, unsupervised clustering accuracy on the MNIST datasets was up to 99+%, while the accuracy on the STL10 datasets was about 50%. When clustering natural images, deep clustering methods face various challenges. The main challenges are first, extracting high-level discriminative features. Many deep clustering methods use autoencoders to extract image features, and they are effective for the simple digit images. But it is hard for these methods to extract discriminative features of natural images because there are too many details that are unrelated to the semantics of natural images. And the pixel-to-pixel reconstruction loss tend to overestimate low-level features. The second is capturing object semantics. Natural images tend to be clustered by various cues, such as textures, colors, and the background. However, it is desired that the images are clustered by the object semantics. The third is avoiding trivial solutions that assign all samples to a single or very few clusters. The fourth is clustering large-size images with a memory-limited device. To overcome these problems, first we propose the label feature theorem for clustering. We recast the clustering as the optimization problem with two constraints. One is the probability constraint and the other is non-empty cluster constraint. The label feature theorem can ensure that the learned features are one-hot encoded vectors, and the trivial solutions that assign all samples into a single or very few clusters can be avoided. And the proof of the label feature theorem can be found in the supplementary material. Then we reformulate the constraint optimization problem in equation 2 as the bottom equation, where LR and LT correspond the first and the second term in the equation 2. And the LE is to satisfy the non-empty cluster constraint. In practice, the label features are the outputs of softmax function, so that the probability constraint is always satisfied. To capture the object-oriented semantics, we further introduce an attention term, LA. Based on the label feature theorem and the problem formulation, we design for self-learning tasks with the constraints of transformation invariance, separability maximization, entropy analysis, and attention mapping. The GAT cluster framework is shown in this figure. It consists of three modules. First, image feature module is to extract convolutional features of the images. Second, label feature module is to map the convolutional features to the label features. Attention module is to localize the discriminative local region and output the attention label feature. In the training stage, we take the original images and their transformations as input. And the supervision signals for all learning tasks are self-generated without annotations. Next, we will introduce each learning task in detail. First is transformation invariance task. An image after any practically reasonable transformation still reflects the same object. These transformed images should have similar feature representations. The loss function is defined as equation 4. Here, LIT is the label features of the transformed image, and Li height is the target label feature of an original image that is recomputed as the equation 5. The equation 5 can balance the sample assignments by dividing the cluster assignments frequency ZH, preventing the empty clusters. The transformation function is predefined as the combination of random flipping, random affine transformation, random jittering. Separability maximization task is to improve the purity of clusters by encouraging samples that are similar to be closer to each other, while dissimilar samples to be further away from each other. As the ground truth relationships between samples cannot be obtained, and they are evaluated as equation 6. To get the cluster ID Ci in the equation 6, the k-means algorithm is conducted on a batch of samples based on the predicted label features. And then the loss function is defined as the equation 7, where D is the cosine distance between the label features Li and Lj. Entropy task is to satisfy the non-empty cluster constraint of the label feature theorem. The loss function is defined as the equation 8. Actually, maximizing the entropy will steer P, the sample distribution over classes, toward a uniform distribution. And thus the non-empty constraint is satisfied so that the trivial solutions are avoided according to the label feature theorem. The attention mapping task is to facilitate the model to capture object-oriented semantics. The basic idea is that the discriminative information of the object is usually at local region. To this end, there are two problems to be solved. First, how to design the attention module for localizing the discriminative local region. And second, how to train the attention model in a self-supervised manner. For the first problem, we design a Gaussian kernel-based attention module. In the attention module, an FC layer is first used to estimate the Gaussian kernel parameters, and then attention feature generator will compute the Gaussian attention map based on the equation 9 and output the attention convolutional features, which are then forwarded to a global pooling layer by another FC layer, outputting the attention label features. For the second problem, we design self-supervised attention mapping loss to train the attention module. The basic idea is that the discriminative region should preserve the same semantics with that of the whole image and have a more intense response than that of the whole image. The loss function is defined as equation 10, as shown in the red box of the figure. LIA is the attention label feature, and LI is the label feature of the whole image, and the LIA height is the target attention label feature that is computed by equation 11. Finally, we design a two-step self-learning algorithm that trains the GAT cluster by optimizing all loss functions simultaneously. And in our learning algorithm, there are two steps for each iteration. The step 1 is to statistically calculate the pseudo targets, and the second 2 is to train the model as in the supervised learning. Our learning algorithm is memory efficient. For example, a single GPU with HG memory is enough for clustering large set ImageNet images. Extensive experimental results show that GATCluster significantly outperform the state-of-the-art methods on larger sets or is comparable to them on small-size image data sets. Also, ablation study has demonstrated the effectiveness of each component for GATCluster. Particularly, the attention module can improve the best accuracy by 4.4%. Importantly, attention module is able to localize the discriminative local region so that the GAT cluster has the interpretability to the learned cluster semantics by presenting the local regions as shown in the above figures. For more detailed information, please refer our paper, the supplementary material, and the released code at GitHub. Thanks for your attention.